Hello viewers, it is not Super GT here, but hopefully we have some videos or a race here that is just as good. We head over to Spa. This is last week's now at the time of uploading this, last week's daily race, but this only just happened on the Sunday. Tremendous race, really enjoyed it, so I've managed to record it, clip it together and grab ourselves a decent video. So as I say, we head to Spa, daily race C. We've got some top split players in here. Not least Key, who is on P1 there, starting on pole position. So we're going to get ourselves underway. We are in the Mazda RX Vision, and yeah, we can go fuel map 1 on this. It is a race that requires quite a bit of fuel saving, and as we see here, I didn't realise actually, by some reason, I don't know why, but traction control had been put back onto the car, so I lose a little bit out of that exit there, but these three guys up top I know are going to be fighting. Whether or not we manage to catch up to them, well, we're about to find out, but we don't get off to the best start there. As we see, we cut Raleno actually, and as we look up there, we grab ourselves a penalty. So that is not the best start of the race. We're going to see ourselves dropping down the pack a little bit, and it's a story of whether or not we can manage to catch back up to those A+ players, to those top dogs, and see whether or not we can grab ourselves some positions and grab a decent result. We're starting P4, we're one position off the podium. And believe it or not, we actually get closer to that than we might think, despite 3 cars there, which is a sight that you want to see, going side by side around Spa. A+ drivers who I know I'm going to struggle to catch up to. We actually hold on to the back of them relatively well there. The gap is not all too bad, I think, but we do serve our penalty, and as we see, drop down quite a bit. So we're going to lose this position here. We keep an eye out behind us. I knew that this guy was going to get the position, but actually it probably works out to our advantage there. We managed to get the slipstream, don't lose a massive amount of pace, thankfully, but I do need to keep an eye behind me here. There's a is that Netherlands? A Netherland fella who is wanting the spot behind us, but for now I'm going to be on the back of this German. We almost put this car around. Very difficult to get the power down here, and I mentioned the guy behind me there. He's going to look, I thought, look for a move to the inside, and he absolutely gets it done much earlier than I thought he was. I thought he was going to go for a lunge to the inside, but he actually just drives straight past us. And the reason being is that this guy, I believe, was not fuel saving, if I do remember rightly. So we're going to whip it forward there. Not going to be able to gain all too much in the slipstream. However, oh well, because we're not in the slipstream. However, we see there 2 cars fighting once again. It can only mean around Spa that you have yourself a chance to catch up. We're absolutely on the back of them. I'm going to fuel save as best as I can. This is a key point in this race here, is fuel saving, because the no stop is the quicker strategy for the most part. As we see, we're still on the back of them here. They haven't managed to drop us, which is what I normally feared. You know, I normally fear that happening. Us catching up, normally not going to happen, but we do get a bit of a bump there. And to be honest with you, I was looking. I thought we were going to get a penalty. Thankfully, we do not. The penalty system still needs a little bit of work in this game, as it did on GT Sport, but let's not worry about that for now. We managed to gain quite a bit in the slipstream once again. We're going to try and put a bit of pressure on him here, force him to maybe make a mistake. That is absolutely what happens. We managed to get there just to the inside nicely. We give him enough space on the right hand side, and it's at this point here that he starts to gain once more. He's pushing as hard as he can, this guy, and I think he's going to go for a move. Now I try and prioritise a better exit as opposed to entry, but then I look and I realise he has not gone for the move. I really thought he was going to. He does go by default to the inside, but we still managed to prioritise that run. So I'm going to go fuel mix 1 here, just as we get out of Eau Rouge and Raleno actually, and fuel mix 1 just to try and drop him, because he is in the slipstream. He is going to be gaining from that, and if we can just kind of try and eliminate the gain that he's going to get, then job is good. And skipping forward, and I promise things now are going to start to get a little bit more interesting. We've got P4 up ahead, which is a Peugeot, and I know that he's probably going to be struggling on the straights, because we do start to gain a little bit here. Peugeot not so good on the straights if you are fuel saving versus the Mazda, but just in general I think the Mazda has the better speed on the straight, and we're gaining. And as we see here, we get ourselves into the bus stop chicane. Now this is where it gets a little bit interesting. First kind of mishap of the race. We have the chap behind me there, who I said was pushing quite a bit. We got past him previously. He goes to the left hand side here, which sort of actually took me by surprise. I was moving over to the left-hand side. You kind of drift over to the left to, of course, take the racing line, and this is where we just get a little bit out of hand. Thankfully, we don't T-bone straight into the wall, but look at these positions that we're losing. We've not lost 1, we've not lost 2, we've not lost 3, because we're about to lose 4 positions, and we try and nab the slipstream just to try and stay on the back here of that Peugeot who flies through. And we're just going to rewind this here because there was so much going on. It's actually difficult to commentate. So we get to the bus stop chicane. I do run a little bit deep here, which allows the Peugeot, as we see, he bumps us in the back there, which is just because he's taken the better line, and he was pushing as well. And there, I look back, and I think he's going to go to the right-hand side. It's why you see that I look back twice and 3 times, because I think, actually, he's gone to the left-hand side, which I was not expecting. I naturally drift across. It looks a lot worse here. It actually looks like he tries to tag us and spin us round. But he actually manages to do that a little bit later. He just bumps us there, and that's where we get unsettled. Looking from his angle then, it looks as if I actually am in the wrong here, so it's a difficult one to judge. I go to the left-hand side the same time that he does, and I just don't catch him early enough in the rear view mirror. At that point there, you see he's able to come off the brakes, because the Peugeot can take this corner so much better than the Mazda. I have to be very, very patient around there, and that's it. We get the bump, and away we go. But it gets better, or it gets a little bit worse. But it gets better and worse. We catch up, or we manage to stay on the back. We're fuel saving still. We're in the slipstream here, so we can only hope that we can just try and grab a couple of positions. These guys are going to be fighting. They're all quite close. Let's see what happens. We're going to whip it forward to the point where we slam the brakes on once more for the bus stop chicane. He hangs it out wide here a little bit longer than I was expecting him to, so we make a move to the inside. We're now side by side. We see someone does jump into the pits there, and now it's a drag race down the pit straight. I think this is where we managed to get this one quite comfortably, I think. And we know that he's not going to go for the move on this one. He's a little bit too far back. That said, just there, you may have just heard it, we receive a bit of a bump from behind, and as we take a look, he actually receives a penalty for that. So we know that later down the race, he should hopefully not be too much of a concern. Now, looking ahead, we see 2 cars side by side out of Puong. What's going to happen here? Well, indeed, he is going to bin it, and that is me gaining a place. The only places that I managed to gain, for the most part, is when people bin it. So that is one of those many things that I love to see. Now, Peugeot here, a little bit further ahead. I'm gaining on him here quite easily in the Mazda, and I couldn't quite work out whether or not he was pushing or not, just trying to save fuel in certain areas. Couldn't quite work him out. We're right behind him on the bus stop chicane here, or in the bus stop chicane. He runs a little bit wide, just somehow doesn't quite manage to get the power down. We're alongside him, and it's at this point here I decide I'm going to short shift nice and early. Once, first thing to save a little bit of fuel. But I also want him to be in the lead at this point, because the Peugeot, for one, can take the corners a little bit better. It might be sacrificed in the straights, and as we see here, it's at this point he now breaks away, and I wanted the slipstream all the way down here, and I have to actually use a little bit more fuel to stay in the slipstream, which is what tells me he was definitely not fuel saving, or that he may have been stopping at some point, which indeed does happen. So we just want to try and stay as close as we can. He is going to drop us there as we enter the midfield section of Spa, a track, by the way, which you've just got to love it, haven't you? Right, we all love Spa. Not many of us are very good at it. Well, I'm definitely not very good at it, but yeah. And there we go. We see him go into the pit. So he now gives us P5. And this point here is where things start to get interesting. I'm looking at P4. I don't think initially that we're going to actually be able to catch up to him until this point here. Now, from turn 1 all the way up to the end of the Kemmel Straight, we actually gained about 8 or 9 tenths to him, and I wasn't expecting that at all. And as we see there, Key is right in front of him. Now, I know how much Key was struggling in that Supra. He was on a live stream, he was doing a few different cars, seeing what could work, and indeed he was having a mare in that Supra. So it's at this point here that I think I could actually gain. This is going to be possible, and although Key was struggling, I'm still going to tell everyone just how close I was and brag about it as if it was all my own doing. But we see here anyways, I'm gaining. Are we going to go to the inside? Yes, we do. We pull out to the right-hand side. We go for the lunge. We've got to get it done. And at this point here, our work is done, but it's about to be undone. He comes back to the inside, and yeah, nothing much more to say really. That is that. Let's take another look at it there. I come out wide trying to take the racing line. He jumps back to the inside. We just get a little nudge and away we go. That's it, onto the grass. Very careful not to try and bin it here. And I'm going to roll on to the end of the race because I thought, let's really hope that things start to brighten up. And they did. But initially that was only down to the fact of GT7's dynamic weather. And the sun pops out from behind the clouds. This is just a moment, a wonderful, wonderful moment. We come out of the bus stop chicane and we see he has indeed binned it. And yes, mate, we managed to nab the position. P4 for us there. We get 4th. On track, realistically, it was 5th. But I'm certainly going to make most of the karma and claim 4th. So yes, the bit that we all want to see. Let's take a look now at the replays. We're going to kick things off with the exterior angles. And then we'll jump around some other shots and see what is what. We get a move done, as far as I'm concerned. And we go to take the racing line. He just goes to nudge to the inside. Whether or not he's seen us here or not, well, he knows that we're there because we've just overtaken him. So we try and get a bit of perspective from his angle here. So we're going to go chase cam behind him. We get the move done. He'll be gutted at that point there. He's in the Genesis here, which I've not driven actually. Dives to the inside, and this is where I think, look at that, we just see a little nudge to the left. A little nudge to the left, which is what puts us off. And I've highlighted his steering input on this one. So take a look at this. I think he might be on pad, but he goes to the right-hand side, right, left, and back to the right-hand side again. It just seems to snap out of nowhere, this quick shunt to the left. And yeah, try and pause it here. He's going to try and run onto the apex there, same line as what Key is. That is the racing line. And I just wonder whether or not he's seen us or not. I don't know, but there we go again. We just see it there. It's that nudge to the left. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I did try and go back through his race and see if anything might have prompted his decision. Did I do something wrong? And this is the moment that I found here. He just happens to bin it. He was probably in the fight for the win, or he was probably just dropping off. He may have been a little bit annoyed, and maybe he's just wanted that podium at all costs. I really don't know. I really do not know. But I'm going to leave you with this. I actually put the video, the replay, onto Gran Turismo's new feature, their music rally, to see if they could actually select and overlay the perfect piece of audio for this moment. And they absolutely did. Hope you've enjoyed the episode, and I'll catch you all later.
Hammond!
I didn't know you were there!
Hammond! Use your mirrors!
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe for future videos, future episodes, and more content just like this. And while you're down there, make sure you check out our description for links to our merch store to get hold of awesome t-shirts just like this one. Any orders on the merch store goes a long way to supporting channels just like this. I also think the t-shirts look pretty cool, so make sure you grab what you can, and I shall see you in the next episode.